While you're lost scrolling, drowning in digital noise and modern chaos, a sovereign forged her very existence under the unforgiving weight of a crown. Her stage was a maelstrom of betrayal, relentless pressure, an abyss of power. She didn't seek comfort, she commanded control. This is the burden of the elite. And listen closely. I'm about to reveal a forbidden secret that changed everything for her, a secret you need if you're sick of 2026's endless distractions and performance anxiety. But you'll only get the final piece at the very end. Elizabeth I thrived in that maelstrom. Her reign, a ruthless tapestry of cold calculation and strategic cunning. I promise to unveil here, not just history, but the psychological codes, the alchemy of power. The hidden truth behind her crown, and how you can apply it to dominate your own chaos in 2026. Born illegitimate, a mere shadow in the royal line, Elizabeth ascended the throne under the curse of uncertainty, the crucible of destiny. Every step was a test, a silent tribunal where ruin lurked. She understood early. The crown's life is the life of strategy. Your excuses for procrastination? They're your silent tribunals. The throne wasn't a seat of glory, it was an electric chair of responsibilities. The weight of the entire realm fell on young, female shoulders. A world of ravenous hawks watched her, waiting for the slightest misstep, the smallest flicker of weakness. She had to be relentless, just like you need to be against your own performance anxiety. The kingdom bled, torn by faith. Catholics and Protestants, irreconcilable abysses. She, the newly enthroned sovereign, had to harmonize the chaos without betraying herself. A delicate maneuver. One false step, and the empire would crumble to dust. It's about navigating your internal conflicts, not letting them paralyze you. The act of supremacy, not just a decree, it was a war cry. A brutal assertion of her sovereignty over the church. She carved a path through the canyon of faith, where tolerance was a weapon, not a virtue. She imposed her will over God and men. It's about taking absolute ownership of your domain. Marriage, a tool, not an end. Countless suitors, princes and kings, courted her hand, and her kingdom. Elizabeth played the game of diplomatic seduction with calculated coldness. She maintained the veil of possibility but never surrendered her autonomy. Don't mistake opportunity for obligation, leverage everything. The Virgin Queen persona. A masterful invention. She transformed her femininity into a fortress, her single status into a strategic weapon. Untouchable, she was the mother of the entire nation. No husband to overshadow her light, no heir to divide her power. Pure sovereignty. Understand your unique leverage, make it your ultimate defense. Then, Mary, Queen of Scots, fled to England. A cousin, blood relation, but also a Catholic threat, a beacon for rebels. Mary's presence was a burden, a sword over Elizabeth's head. A relentless game of patience began. Know your threats, even if they're family. Especially if they're family. The web of conspiracies tightened. Babington, Ridolfi, names that echo betrayal. Powerful men, blinded by ambition, tried to tear her down. Elizabeth knew the deadliest enemy rarely wields a sword. He whispers secrets from the shadows. She trusted few. In 2026, trust your gut, not the noise. Her counselors, cunning wolves, clamored for disparate actions. Lord Burghley, Walsingham, brilliant minds, but with their own agendas. The burden of discerning truth in a sea of rhetoric fell on her. A queen must filter the noise, find the core, and decide alone. That's your job. No committee can make you great. Stop. Your excuses are dead. You want to master the ruthless strategies Elizabeth used to dominate chaos? The true blueprint is laid bare in Undefined by Undefined. This is not an option, it's a mandatory upgrade for your mindset, a practical remedy for 2026's overwhelming pressure. Get it now. The official link to this work is in the description and the first pinned comment. No more delays. Act. Philip II of Spain. The Catholic titan, the empire on which the sun never set. A constant threat, an abyss of military and religious power. Elizabeth couldn't fight head-on. She deployed diplomacy, piracy, calculated delay. A dangerous dance on the precipice of ruin. This is how you manage overwhelming odds when direct confrontation means destruction. The Netherlands question. A dilemma. Intervene and provoke Spain, or watch Protestant allies be crushed. She sent aid, yes, but with calculated parsimony. Enough to sustain resistance, insufficient to drain the kingdom's coffers. Balance is everything. Ruthless resource allocation. A lesson for your own limited energy and focus. The cadence of diplomacy. A symphony of veiled threats, hollow promises, and calculated gestures. Elizabeth understood that peace was often just a pause before the next battle. She kept the world suspended, always suspended. Never show all your cards. Always keep them guessing. Robert Devereux, the Earl of Essex. Her favorite, young, impetuous, ambitious. A living example of the weakness power can inspire in others. His rebellion was a final test for the Queen, personal affection versus state sovereignty. A brutal choice. Emotions are a liability in leadership. The price of mercy. Affection was a luxury a sovereign couldn't afford. Essex was executed. A cold, relentless lesson. Even the closest were subject to the law of the realm. To maintain stability, she sacrificed her heart. That is the naked truth. What are you willing to sacrifice for your dominance? Finances. Wars cost fortunes. Maintaining a navy, an army, an entire kingdom. Elizabeth was a master of frugality, of intelligent revenue generation. She avoided the abyss of debt that swallowed other nations. Prosperity was a rampart against ruin. Your financial discipline directly fuels your freedom. The kingdom's stability. An illusion maintained by an iron will. She navigated between noble factions, ambitious merchants, zealous Puritans, each pulling in their own direction. Elizabeth kept the ship steady in the eye of the hurricane. A master orchestrator. This is how you conquer scattered focus and internal resistance. The art of strategic indecision. Don't rush. Observe. Ponder. Ambiguity was a powerful tool, keeping enemies and allies in check. She delayed, negotiated, created false hopes, while awaiting the exact moment to strike. The clock was always on her side. Patience is not weakness, it's a weapon for the alpha mind. The Spanish Armada. The ultimate threat. Thousands of ships, the largest fleet ever seen. Europe awaited the verdict, England's downfall. This was the moment of abyss, where all her cunning would be put to the test. A nation's destiny hung by a thread. This is your ultimate performance anxiety scenario. Tilbury. The speech that forged a nation. I know I have the body but of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king. Visceral rhetoric, forging loyalty on the brink of annihilation. She transformed fear into fury, vulnerability into strength. Pure magnetism. This is how you command. This is how you inspire. This is how you crush performance anxiety. The victory. The miracle. But at what cost? Years of tension, sacrifices. The kingdom survived, yes. But the sovereign was exhausted. The crown's brilliance often masks the invisible scars of those who bear it. No one emerges unscathed from the abyss of power. Dominance demands its price. The final years. The weight of longevity. The fear of succession. With no direct heirs, the kingdom's future was a dark unknown. She fought to maintain control until her last breath, a woman forged in struggle, ending her journey alone. The solitude of the summit. This is the truth of ultimate accountability. The solitude of power. No true confidant. Every word, every gesture, calculated. The naked truth is that leaders, strategists, exist in a vacuum where trust is a chimera. It's the price of sovereignty. It's the price of dominion. An abyss. If you want to play at this level, you play alone. Her legacy was not territorial expansion, but stability and survival. She didn't build an empire, she saved one. She forged a national identity. Her mastery was maintaining balance on the precipice, governing tensions, not eliminating them. A timeless lesson. It's about resilience, not just growth. The supreme lesson from Elizabeth I resides in this: manage chaos, don't annihilate it. Handle multiple pressures, religious, external, internal, like a maestro conducting a dissonant orchestra. Never allowing one note to dominate the symphony. Never losing strategic focus. This is your practical remedy for the chaos of 2026, for crushing procrastination and staying laser-focused. Power, therefore, doesn't reside in crushing, but in balancing tensions. Managing multiple interests, not eliminating them. Her mastery was dancing on the tightrope of the abyss, between yes and no. The art of strategic ambiguity. This is the burden. This is the dominion you crave. And that is the forbidden secret. The truth is a bitter chalice. For the weak, history is a fairy tale. For the strong, it's a brutal manual of sovereignty. If you have the stomach for the raw truth, for true alpha mindset insights, ATHENEUM's Substack is your next step. Comment, Dominion, if you survived this far. Stop procrastinating. Start dominating.